listening is a very underrated skill. Back to schools again. We send children to school, we tell them what to study, but we don't teach them how to listen. And that is fundamental if you want to receive information. You have to learn how to listen first, how to listen carefully, and then how to listen for contradictions, things that in essence maybe sound good but don't really make much sense at the end of the day. So again, eight out of 10 people don't listen or can't listen. I was trying to explain it yesterday to a client who was saying, when I talk to people, they just don't listen to they just don't listen to me. I ask a question and I get an answer about a different question, and I was trying to explain, well, this is normal because they're just not listening to you. They're not focused on what you're saying, really. The one conversation is very often two conversations, right? They're two different things. And I think that as we get older, we become less flexible with ideas and with perspectives in the world. And how I would describe it is that as children, we are like grains of sand on a beach. We can be moved by the wind, and we can be moved by the sea and the waves and the water. And we're there, but we don't have much power. As we grow and we get older, we become bigger. We become stones, and then rocks, and then bigger rocks, and then hills, and then mountains. And rocky, yeah. And so my feeling is that with for example, I've talked before about my parents. Trying to persuade my parents about anything is like trying to move a mountain. It's just absolutely impossible. It really is like trying to move a mountain. They are fixed with their ideas and their philosophies, and this is perfectly normal. It's perfectly normal, but it's interesting to understand that this is happening to most people as they go through life. They just become more fixed, more set in their habits, set in their ways, and it's really, really hard to communicate between the two different groups. Like the rock can still move, the rock can still roll, but the mountain is not going anywhere. And so people just don't listen. It's even myself. I'm just aware of it in myself that people say things to me, and I'm like, nah, and then later it turns out that they were right and I was wrong. And so it's a very hard. And then, as you said, people build houses and live in places where it's not maybe such a good place to live. The risk. It's the risk. People, well, it's once every 100 years, so it probably won't happen when.
I will survive.
Yeah, it's the cross my fingers, and then, you're sitting in a hotel eating your dinner, and 1 second, and what's that noise? Then there's no hotel and no you, in the next second, which which is, it's visible in things like that. It's visible in the problems with hotels, but consider it in other economic situations like the housing bubble that happened. Consider it in economics where these ideas are invisible. And people can see the what, but they can't see the why. They can see what's happening, but they've no idea why it's happening. And there will constantly, I think, be these problems, because people believe, oh, it won't happen to me. There's me who went jogging through areas where bears live, right? That won't happen to me. Of course, it it doesn't until it does. It won't until it will, and there are these problems always. The number of times I have taken my car to the garage just to get it checked, and they find some fairly big problem with the car, where if I didn't take the car to the garage, there would probably be an accident. I can think of at least 4 or 5 times. Yeah, yeah, where I took my car to the garage and they said, "Do you know that this is?" Oh, I didn't know this is broken. It was driving okay to me. I didn't know. Yeah, and if I didn't get that, and what about if you're driving kids around in the car as well? When I was 17, I had a car accident. I crashed my car. And, oh, I was okay. Me and 3 friends in the car. I was driving too fast. I crashed my car. It's one of the best things that ever happened to me. 17, yeah. And yeah, that was, it was a warning. It was a warning. It was a lesson. You were lucky. Don't do it again. Yeah. So, so that's why I think that I'm usually a little bit more careful than uh, than other drivers on the road. But yeah, a problem can happen anywhere at any time, especially in this weather, right? Yeah, I think my my guardian angel has been working overtime uh, to to keep me in one piece. I think basically. Yeah, car accidents are horrible things. My father fell asleep driving once in my car, crashed it. Yeah, yeah, he just fell asleep, crashed the car. He was okay, but it can happen. I think we've all been there. I've been driving down there. Oh, okay. It's just you're tired, and modern lifestyle, work, traveling, family, trying to organize so many things. I mean, most people when they drive are not thinking about driving. That's scary, right? That's really scary. Well, yeah, or the crazy things with cars in the past. The radio was down there. Yeah, how many accidents happened because somebody was trying to tune the radio or put in a tape or a CD or something or yeah. Well, I think if the screen is in your vision area in front of you, it's okay. If it's like on the chair next to you, it's not really on the seat next. Where am I? Yeah, and yeah, all of these things together. I mean, people are very rarely where they are, and because they're thinking about what will happen or what happened, and especially as driving, because driving is such an automatic activity for people. Um, so many times in my car, I drive from one place to another place, and I'm here already because I was thinking about other things. Um, so you look at a road and all the cars on the road, and you try to realize that a lot of these people are not actually there. They're somewhere else in their mind. Um, yeah, and when the cars were designed, it wasn't people were not thinking about snow and ice and how can you learn? How do you learn to drive on snow and ice. You can't unless you actually drive on snow and ice. Um, this is why I think that when people are learning to drive, they should test the limits. They should have experience. Learning to drive is such a safe activity because you never really test the limits of anything. And I think there should be more difficult or extreme activities that people have to deal with in those situations. Because cars are these killing machines, right? Yeah, they you buy a car now which will go like 300 miles an hour or something, which is the problem with the technology is it's faster than people can think. The car is capable of doing things that we can't even comprehend because we can't even think that way. Which is maybe why the new technology is good because there's lots of sensors on the modern cars and tells you how close you are to other things and whether or not it will be practical or successful. It's difficult to say. It's probably a good thing because on average, computers don't make as many mistakes, I think, as people make, and they're more accurate. So they can be used in that way. You can't remove the human factor because you can't predict everything. But um, yeah, computers are much better at sending information. They're much better at copying information. They're more exact. They're more precise. So these, in general, are good things, I think.